by the mic they speak. Aroa Reeton Cyberpunk Chic. Game Awards 2025 tonight. Talking pixels shining bright. Pokemon cards on your phone. Trade and play never alone. Legends battling in your hand. Digital creatures take a stand. Tune in, tune up, feel the vibe. News and tech where we subscribe. Reeton's crew, we take the lead. From gaming's roots to latest feed.
Hello and welcome to the Reeton Entertainment Podcast, episode 468 for December 15th, 2024. My name is Nathan Reeton Spruth. Joining me this week, we have Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
It's a me.
It's a you, Cyberpunk-io. Yeah, and then Aroa, he's missing. He's gone missing.
He might show up in a panic in like 15 minutes from now, being like, "Oh gosh, I forgot the time" or something like that.
Oh gosh, I just woke up.
Yeah, you know, these things happen. I get it. I've been there.
Things happen, yeah. And so, first things first, where can we find you? Have you any big projects coming up?
Yes, but I can't talk about it.
I was going to say, do you have any big projects we can't talk about?
You can find me, you can find you can find Aroa at aroa.website, AROAH.website. And while you're there, you can check out my podcast. One of those is Bug City Blues, a Shadowrun 6th World Edition actual play podcast. And it's a great time, and I work really hard on it. And you should check it out.
And if you also, if you prefer old, like if you prefer like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, you can listen to our complete podcast, which is Clinton Square Classics: Rise of the Runelords.
Yeah, that one's already done and wrapped up. But I still get comments from people who are like, "I'm listening to it right now. It's great."
Yeah, I mean that's what you call evergreen content.
It don't go bad.
Yeah, exactly.
People are going to keep on liking 3.5 / Pathfinder First Edition. That's not going to change anytime soon.
I have no idea even about Pathfinder Second Edition.
I've played it enough to know about it. I know I like Starfinder a lot more than Pathfinder Second Edition. That is.
Yeah, I have Starfinder, but I also have some other, like we have the Power Rangers one.
We're gonna do the Power Rangers. I picked up a game called Mothership a while ago. I backed it on Kickstarter. And I really, 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 really want to play that eventually. Not right now. I got too much stuff going on.
Yeah, that's the problem. And like, I know some people who are like, "Oh, I play like 3 different games," and like, so that they're like playing 3 different tabletop games at once. I'm thinking specifically of somebody we used to play Rise of the Runelords with, and I'm just like, man, I don't have the time. That's a lot of time to put in, like, because you're playing. We play for like, what, 3 or 4 hours when we play Shadowrun. And doing that 3 times a week just seems like way too much. Anyway, good for them. But you can find me, Nathan Reeton Spruth. I'm everywhere at Reeton, mainly Twitch, twitch.tv/Reeton. I'm there Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'm also on Blue Sky. You can find me at Reeton on there. It's like Twitter, only less bad.
It has less Nazis on it.
Fewer Nazis. You can count the Nazis. It's all of them. So anyway, what games have you played this week?
The games that I have. Let me start with the games that I've been playing couch co-op with. It's still been Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, which I think is still the best kart racer on PC. Someone prove me wrong.
Yeah, I would say yes.
And I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 in co-op, which is I probably said this anecdote before. I call it our Baldur's Date.
Yep.
I've been playing with the Pookie. And then on my own time, I've been bouncing between a couple of games. Nothing's like sinking its teeth into me the way I wanted it to. I've been playing a little bit of Space Marine 2, which I just wish felt a little bit more like Gears of War, which I know that's not what it says on the tin, but that's what I wanted it to be.
Is it as good as the first one, or is it not as good as the first one?
It is better than the first one in lots of ways, but I think they were so focused on horde fighting that they forgot to make it feel like I'm not just mashing my power button over and over and over and over. It's like
I see.
every time I'm trying to find a game I want to play, Space Marine is not very high on that list, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's one that you would really love because it's your Warhammer.
Right, I love Warhammer. I have been playing a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2. I was watching somebody play that on a stream, and I was like, man, that's such a good game. I'm going to go back to it. And the save that I have is right before Arthur gets sick. Spoiler alert. And I'm like, man, I don't think I got the mental fortitude for this right now.
I played that game, and I said it on the podcast. That game is amazingly well done, and it bores the shit out of me.
I could see it. I can get it. The character that I'm playing right now, this is the save. Back I was playing in like 2019 or something like that. So I was making all my money by just going out and poaching. I am filthy rich.
Yeah.
My guns are gold plated. Like I don't really need to do all of these things. And then they're like, "Oh, we need to get money for the camp." Do we though?
You like look into your tent and it's just like giant like piles of gold, and you're like, yeah, I guess we do need to. I'm not sharing any of this, so
You need that. I need to go get these legendary fish.
yeah, exactly.
That's not what I want to do right now. I've been playing a little bit of Cyberpunk because I love Cyberpunk. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mod this. I was looking on the Nexus. I saw a mod that makes this game a little more realistic, like a bullet to the head should be lethal.
Yeah,
Tell that to the protagonist of the game, am I right, guys?
right.
But I think I'm going to install that and just see how that experience goes. Because I've already got all the achievements for this game. I don't care.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
that's the games I've been playing. I think that's all I wanted to mention was Warhammer, Sonic, Red Dead, Helldivers, Cyberpunk, and Boulders.
yeah, Cyberpunk is. I played it when it came out, but I hear it's a lot better now.
If you haven't played it since the DLC came out, it really is worth going back to. They put some elbow grease into this game. It shines now.
Yeah, and like when I played it originally, I have a 3070, and it ran okay, but I think it runs a lot better now on the 3070. Since you have the 3070 too, I believe.
I do also have a 3070. I can run it with ray tracing okay, but I can also run it at over 60 frames per second if I don't have my ray tracing on.
Yeah,
And I like the silky smooth over the and I know I'm really nitpicking here. I could tell with Cyberpunk especially that ray tracing is only reflecting what's in the screen space.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's a little. It's all no, it's not. It's not reflecting everything that's in the screen space, but it does have screen space reflections, which actually, when I played it, hurt the performance quite a bit.
Maybe that was going on, but like I was using it, and I was very like actually bothered by it. So I'm fine with my silky smooth experience. If somebody out here who hasn't played Cyberpunk since they updated, you have my brand of approval on that.
I tested it on stream with ray tracing, and I had to look for the ray tracing basically. Like there's a big Ferris wheel that lights up at night,
Mhm.
and I would turn off ray tracing, look at the water and not see the reflection, and then I would turn on the ray tracing and I would be able to see the reflection of the Ferris wheel. Like you had to go specific to be like, okay, this is definitely ray traced here, or look at like puddles in the road. Same thing with like Ghostwire Tokyo. Yeah, the ray tracing was cool, but it didn't really matter that much.
I'm still as blown away as I was when I was playing the last Deus Ex game. Like, you don't need to make the most intense graphics. You just need to make it thematic and lived in.
Yeah,
And you know what? For Cyberpunk's credit, it worked.
it did.
That's all it needed to be and more, and it did it.
So, we're going to move on to me and the games I played, which weren't that many. Marvel Rivals, which I played with AirFox. I played that with AirFox last Friday, not the 13th, but the week before. I played that, and it was it's all right.
Who's your main?
I was playing the Winter Soldier. Apparently, I'm like that's the one character I was doing like really well with was the Winter Soldier. I tried other characters, like I tried Magneto, and I'm really bad with Magneto. He's a support character, which is weird to me. And then there were like some other characters I would try out. Like I tried Black Widow, and she's all right. And then I know AirFox was really liking playing Rocket, which Rocket's a healer, which was really helpful because, you know, healers are needed in those games. Right. And most of the healers suck. Or most of the people who play healers suck is what I mean. A lot of people are really liking the shark.
Jeff the Shark. That's the one who I was gonna bring up and ask.
Yeah, I didn't play as Jeff the Shark because Jeff the Shark was always taken. There's also a couple characters who are like close range characters, like Captain America, who you can throw his shield with one of your abilities, but he's mainly like a close range character, and I am terrible with the close range characters. There's also Psylocke, who I didn't play as, and Psylocke's ult is crazy. Just like always, it's like a team wipe if Psylocke's able to get the ult on you guys. It's awful.
I
But
think
that
Doctor
being said,
Strange has one that's just portals. That's fun.
yeah. But it was fun. I had a good time. I tried playing that again on the 13th with Airfox again, and he was busy doing something, so he wasn't able to play. And then Durga wasn't able to play either. So I just played the other game I've been playing, which is Metaphor ReFantasio, which I really like. It's really good.
Yeah, you've been playing that one for a long. I am surprised that it has taken this long for you to finish this game. How close are you? Do you think to the end?
It's a Persona game, man. So
I could tell.
yeah, it's about 80 to 100 hours, and I'm 50 hours in.
Man, when I was bouncing looking for games, I was like, I should play the first Kiwami game, or Like a Dragon, I mean. And it was like 30 to 50 hours, and like, not now.
It's so good though.
I know.
But
I love the Like a Dragon one, and I want to. Are you talking about the?
yeah, I'm talking about Like a Dragon. It's so good.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about your Persona game.
Yeah, the
which
Like
I
a
guess is
Dragon
also
games are
pretty
good. Yeah, Metaphor's great. Anime style cutscenes are really good. One of my viewers on Friday was like, "These cutscenes are insane," and I was like, "Is this insane in a good way, a bad way?" And she's like, "No, it's insanely good cutscenes. Like they look like anime, which is always great." One of the things I really liked about the Ni no Kuni game was that they had Studio Ghibli work on the cutscenes, so they were amazing. And same thing with Metaphor ReFantasio. They're actually thinking about making an anime out of Metaphor, so that would be pretty cool. I still haven't watched the Persona anime though, so who knows if I'll ever watch it. Anyway, great game. They're coming up on some stuff like as I'm progressing in the story that I'm like, yeah, I kind of saw that coming, but I won't spoil it for anyone. I do have one friend who's like, oh, I don't like. He doesn't come into my stream very often. It's Durga. He's like, oh, I won't come into your stream if you're playing a game that I want to also play through for the story. And I'm like, that's great, but I also know you'll never play through this game. Like, he says that about like the Persona games, like not wanting to watch and ruin the Persona games, but he's never played through a Persona game. It's just, he's like, oh no, I'll play through it at some point. And he said the same thing about Like a Dragon. He's like, I didn't want to come in and watch you play Like a Dragon. I want to play through the entire Yakuza series first before I play Like a Dragon. I'm like, sure.
That's gonna be a long time, and I get it, but you definitely can experience Like a Dragon and be pretty free of the rest of the Yakuza experience.
Yeah. I mean, so I played through the 3 I played through are Yakuza, Like a Dragon. Then there was an interim game, The Man Who Forgot or Lost His Name, which was Like a Dragon, The Man Who Lost His Name, I think. And then I played through Like a Dragon 2. And I think that playing through the middle game there, The Man Who Lost His Name, really helps connect the stories because it has to do with the interim in between the two Like a Dragon games. And you play as Kiru rather than playing through as the character from Like a Dragon. So that helps bridge those two games. But I don't think you really need to play through the originals technically to know what's going on in the newer games. But I'm sure there's a lot of like Easter eggs and stuff that you find in the newer games that you wouldn't see if you didn't play through the originals. But there's so many of them.
Yeah,
There's
I definitely
so
want to
many.
do 0, 1, and 2, and then 3, 5, 6, 7 is like,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
maybe I'll get back to that. We need our friend Earl Grey to be on here because I'm sure he'd be like, no, you just got to sit down and play each and every one fully to their completion.
Yeah, I interact with him every once in a while, but he's really busy. He owns so he, of course, is a flight attendant, which he's spoken about on the podcast before. But he also owns a video game shop. Like he's a part owner in a video game shop, so I'm sure he's really busy with all that. Anyway, we're going to talk about some news stories, and the first news story we're going to talk about is new update from iFixit, who I really like iFixit. They have good.
I like iFixit.
Yeah,
I have some of their kits.
There's as time progresses, there are fewer and fewer sponsorships I think I would ever work with. Like before, when we first started, if anybody emails us saying, "Hey, we want to do a sponsorship either on this or any of the other podcasts or YouTubes or anything we do," I'd probably consider it. But
You're
now
goddamn right. I'll advertise for Chex Notes Bad Dragon. I don't know what's going on that makes our demographics match up, but yes, money please.
Yeah, like there's a lot of like really scammy partnerships out there, and as time progresses, I've noticed that there's just most of them are scammy. But iFixit would be one of the partnerships I would love to work with. Unfortunately, we don't have the viewership for it. Obviously, they wouldn't sponsor us, but they're one of the few that I would actually be like, yes, I want to work with you because I actually believe in the products. And they have just released their Xbox parts available on their website, which is great. It's called the Xbox Repair Hub or Microsoft Repair Hub. You can get stuff for the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X all digital, and the Xbox Series X disk drive. Plus a bunch of Surface laptops and the Surface Studio, which is their desktop. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
However, the prices, and I know this isn't really set by iFixit, but the prices are kind of freaking expensive. To replace the fan in the Xbox Series X is $30.
But you know what? Beats buying a new Xbox.
That is true. But you know what doesn't really beat buying a new Xbox?
Buying a cheaper fan that fits the slot?
No. Buying their motherboard.
Oh no.
The motherboard, but the US genuine motherboard is $600.
You see, at that point, maybe just get a new Xbox, chummer.
Yeah, exactly. Now there are a couple things here that they're expensive, but they might be worth it. Like if your power supply goes out, it's $86 to replace the power supply. Yeah, that might be a bit expensive, but you're not going to be able to find that power supply anywhere else. So that's fine. And then you can actually get a whole new shell for $40. So if there's just a bunch of exterior damage to your shell, that wouldn't be a bad deal if that's something you care about, while everything else works. But yeah, everything's a little overpriced, but the motherboard for $600 I think is way too overpriced, considering I think you can get the Xbox Series X for like $600 or less. Yeah, and so that's pretty cool. I didn't take a look at the Surface parts, but I assume they're equally as expensive.
I've done cosmetic work on Surface before. Those are not easy machines to take apart either.
Yeah, like the screen assembly is $340. There's another one for the Surface 6, which is $436 for a screen. So it's just, yeah, you can get the parts, but it might be cheaper to just buy a new laptop at that point. But I know the Surface laptops are also overpriced in general. They're good, but they're very expensive. But yeah, so now you can go through there and go to the Microsoft Repair Hub if you happen to damage one of your Xbox parts and get a brand new one. Or get new parts. Not a brand new one, obviously.
Get brand new certified parts.
Yeah, exactly. There are, actually, it's funny, if you go through the Xbox Series S parts, they have more than just the Series S like motherboard and fans and stuff. They actually have stuff for their controllers. So you can buy like new controller joysticks for $14.99 or $30 for two of them.
I mean, I do have a broken
sorry,
Xbox
$30 for
controller
two?
here right now that I'm just literally like, man, I wish I could do something with this, but the controllers are broken.
Well, how
The
are they
sticks
broken? Oh,
The
sticks. Yeah, so you could replace those with genuine parts from iFixit for it looks like $30.
I mean, shit, that's actually not that bad.
Yeah, but you could also probably get like with not Black Friday, but with Christmas coming around the corner, you might be able to get a controller for like $40.
Yeah, and that really is the come and go of all this. If I had like a collector's control, like the do they call it the Pro Control? I don't remember what they call it. The fancy
The
one.
Elite.
Yeah, that's what it is. If I had an Elite, then maybe that would make more sense. But you're absolutely right. If you're shelling out money to do that, you're already halfway there shelling out for a new one.
That is one thing I really liked about working at Sony when I did. They did a pop-up store once, and I know I've told this story before, but it's been a long time. So they did a pop-up store where they literally just bring a bunch of merchandise in and let the employees buy stuff. And they had new controllers for $25 a piece, or used controllers that were like refurbished for $15 a piece. And
that's real good.
I picked up like 5 controllers because I was like, hell yeah. Well, they had a limit, so you could only buy a couple used controllers at once because they didn't want to sell them all out to like one person. And then at the end of the day, when they were packing stuff up, they're like, yeah, you can buy as many as you want now. So I bought a few of the $15 controllers, and I ended up giving them away as like Christmas presents. So yeah, it was really good, and that was great. And then if you had a friend, like, as I wasn't full time, but I had friends who would work there, that could order on the PlayStation Store, and you could order new controllers for, I think it was $25 a piece on the PlayStation Store. But there was a limit to how many you could order. You could only order 2 of each color, which means you could buy an unlimited amount of controllers.
Are they really going to be in a situation where someone's like, I'm buying 60 of the pink controllers?
You could, I think if they're a very special color, that I could see that happening. So if it was like the PlayStation, or like the gray PlayStation controllers, I could see somebody picking up like 10 or 20 of those. Like just being like, oh, I just want a bunch of these so that I can have these gray, like original PlayStation colored controllers. So yes, they might run into that situation. But we're going to move on. Have you been playing the Pokemon trading card game?
No, but I've really been thinking about it. You and Sarah and I think somebody else has been talking about it in the Discord. Don't forget to check out the Reading Entertainment Discord. That's probably included as a link in the description. Or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been really hungry for another. I've been dicking around with my VR headset trying to get it to work with Tabletop Simulator. Not as much as I should be, admittedly, but like I want to be able to just play more card games. Whether that's Magic, whether that's Pokemon, I don't know. I miss it. I used to spend so much time playing Magic back in the day.
So
I want to go back.
You could do that, yeah. And obviously, it's free to play with monetary, like you can buy new, you can buy premium and blah blah blah. But it's good. I don't like playing against actual people because I'll like match up against somebody and they'll have a Japanese name and I'm like, oh no. And then I get my ass stomped. But with that being said, I do like doing they'll do events every couple of weeks where you get to play against like computer opponents and get like free cards out of it, which is pretty cool. And obviously you get to open up 1 or 2. You get to open up 2 booster packs a day. 12 hours. It's 12 hours apart. So I have quite a few. I have like 700 cards now. Not 700 different cards, just 700. It's like 777 cards, with a bunch of duplicates. Like I have like 10 Haunters.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah, I have a ton of Haunters because the most recent event you could, if you beat the event, like on the expert difficulty or whatever, they would give you a booster pack with one card in it. And for some reason, the Haunter seems to have like the biggest drop rate. So I have like 10 or 11 Haunters and a bunch of other cards. But it's fun. I've been having fun. But the story that we have is that apparently it's only been out a month and it made $200 million.
Congratulations. Not like Nintendo needs more money, but congratulations.
They did it. They made lots and lots of money.
Loadsa. That's a lot of money, right? Loadsa?
Yeah, they don't have trading yet, I don't think. In the game, but I know that they're talking about putting trading in the game. So like if you're friends with somebody, we could actually trade cards. But yeah, it's doing well. The game has been downloaded 10 million times. I'm sorry, the game had been downloaded 10 million times within the first 48 hours of launch, and it has surpassed 30 million downloads in the first week. So apparently, obviously, the massive amount of downloads has led to a massive amount of revenue, which I bet you part of that is you get 2 weeks of premium that you can get for free. But I bet you people didn't cancel that.
Nah, probably not.
So they probably got the 2 weeks of premium and then had to pay for it. So I wonder if revenue is going to go down because people are canceling their premium subscriptions, but whatever.
Shit, if you get 1 month of 2 million, good for you, man.
200 million.
Sorry, yeah. God, that's so much fucking money.
I know.
Off of a virtual card game.
I wish I had month. If I had 1 month of $2 million, you'd never hear from me again.
Yeah, I wouldn't need to do anything else for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
But I'm in that same situation. I get it. The people are hungry for the cardboard crack.
Yeah. Between Passes and Pokemon Gold, the game, which is developed by Creatures Inc. and DNA, I don't like that name. It's DENA, but it's DNA. And distributed by the Pokemon Company, has racked up more than $200 million in revenue in its first month. This has seen it overtake all but 2 Pokemon mobile games. It surpasses Pokemon Sleep, which it's a sleep tracker that I've never fucking heard of.
I've heard of it. I just never got it.
And then Pokemon Masters X is in its sight. So I assume that all the other Pokemon games for mobile in their entire life have not earned 200 million except for Pokemon Sleep and Pokemon Masters EX. So
I'm surprised Pokemon Go hasn't made more.
Yeah, you would think so. Let me see here. It says in January 2024, it was announced that Pokemon Masters EX had generated 300 million in revenue. So it seems likely that the trading card game will take over in the coming months. However, it remains to be seen whether the game can achieve unprecedented success of Pokemon Go. So, Pokemon Go has nearly $1 billion in revenue so far. Okay. Yeah, so it's good, and they're coming out with, I think there was a data leak. I don't have it in front of me, but there was a data leak of like the upcoming events. So there's a new event that starts in December 22nd or something like that. They just completed the Venusaur event, and that's the one where I got all the Haunters from. And they currently have an event for actual battles, like PvP. That I've only done 1 or 2 of those since the event came on.
Does that game have a reference code or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think you just download it.
I don't know. Maybe I'll check it. I feel like I've been saying this for like a month now, but maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, ever since it released, the entire month it's been out. The next thing we're gonna want to talk about is we had the Video Game Awards, and I did not watch it.
I watched it, but I watched a streamer watching it, so I don't think I had the genuine experience.
I was playing the Metaphor ReFantasio at the time. Again, great game, love it. If you haven't played it, get it. But I was like, you know what? I don't care about the Video Game Awards, and I watched something the other day. I'm taking a little bit of a tangent, but you'll understand why. I watched something called Saturday Night's Main Event, from WWE. And Saturday Night's Main Event was an old show that they would air on like NBC once every few months. That was like supposed to get, normies into wrestling. So it was like on a primetime slot where they didn't have Saturday Night Live that night, so they aired wrestling instead. And they brought it back. And by old, I mean this was like 1985 is when they would air like Main Event. They would air it in like the 80s. So they brought it back. And so I watched it, and there were so many fucking commercials. And I feel that's how the Video Game Awards was probably like, where there was probably so many commercials.
The commercials honestly weren't that bad. There was a lot of like, and here's the content that's brought to you by Red Spice. I don't remember exactly what was advertised, but like, there was definitely lots of like, this is brought to you by a company that's not a gaming company. Think about them for a minute now.
Yeah.
Back to the rewards.
Yeah, so I am happy that I didn't watch it. I did, before the podcast, go through all the trailers, watch all the trailers, and discuss which ones I want to talk about. I don't really care who won Game of the Year. I think it was Astrobot won Game of the Year.
Yeah, and it sure did. Huh.
A lot of people really like Astrobot, so good for that. But I don't really care. I didn't pay attention. I think Metaphor won like RPG of the Year.
Maybe I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember the winners. I'm bad.
Yeah, I don't. So I don't really care about who won, but I do care about the trailers.
People are here for the trailers, anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you watch the Game Awards for. So the first trailer. So I have a few trailers I want to talk about, and then we'll go into the trailers you want to talk about. The first one I want to talk about is the Outer Worlds 2. I don't think you ever played through that, did you?
I played it on Switch. So
I'm sorry.
I probably did not get the genuine experience. My experience was, I don't think I'll finish this game, and that's probably because of the console I was on.
Yeah, you should definitely get it on your Game Boy.
My Game Boy.
Yeah, I think that for you would be the way you would want to play it. I'll
put it on the list.
Yeah, and you can get it for cheap. I remember a couple years ago when I got my girlfriend her Steam Deck, I got her the Outer Worlds for cheap. I got her a bunch of games for cheap.
I have the Outer Worlds in my library.
What? Oh, you have it in your friend's library, probably, at least.
Yeah, I have it in my family library.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, you tell me if I have any DLC. Do I need the DLC for this game?
No, the DLC that I remember coming out was the Spacers edition, which is just like overhauled graphics and stuff. I don't know I'm sure they had DLC, but you don't need it. You can get the full experience without it. And then the other game, one of the other games, I have 4 games to talk about. So the second game is Den of Wolves, which is a heist game. Did you look at that trailer?
Yes, that's the one. Yes, I did look at this one, and I was very confused as to like, I don't even know exactly what I didn't like about it, but something about it just made it feel like, I guess I didn't like how I felt like I was playing 3 different main characters the whole way through.
Oh yeah, where it's shifting perspective. I don't think, obviously it's not going to be like that when you play the game.
Yeah.
But it's Payday.
No, I remember what I didn't like about it. I didn't like the fact that we were all just looking at like pre-rendered footage. I refuse to get excited about a game if it's just going to show me CGI.
I think some of it wasn't. I think some of it was in-game.
I want to see more of it.
Yeah, like that. Like I try to not pick ones that are strictly CG. Though the last one I want to talk about is. But yeah, it looks fun. I don't know. I also downloaded the there's a game. It's not on the list, but it's Midnight Murder Club. I downloaded that one because there's a beta of it right now on Steam.
That one was intriguing. I didn't really want to play it, but I was curious about it.
Yeah, so I might play that with Durga on Monday. See if we can get a game going on that. But what Den of Wolves looks like Payday slightly in the future. Like a kind of a cyberpunk or steampunk.
It was more like whimsical than Payday, definitely.
Yeah,
like Overwatchy Payday.
And I'm hoping that the problem I have with the games other than Payday often is, or even with Payday, a lot of the times when I play with certain people on Payday, I like stealthing stuff in that game. And a lot of those games, they don't work on the stealth mechanics as much as the as like Payday 2 did. So also when I would play, I played Payday 2 with a friend of mine, and we're like, all right, we're gonna stealth this mission, and he goes in full body armor, and he's like, oh, when I play this with my friends, we just like go loud every time. Like there was no going silent with him.
I still remember the very first heist that we did together. It was a smash and grab, and we're like, all right, it's going to be easy. We're going to go in, we're going to control the civilians, we're going to break some glass, we're going to get out of here. It's like, all right. And as soon as the cops said freeze and like we put our masks down and time slowed down, I just pressed down the left mouse button, and everyone got geeked.
Yeah, that's what happened. So I'm hoping Den of Wolves is better than Payday 3. So it doesn't take much, but I'm hoping that it's better than Payday 3. I guess Payday 3 is better now. They've released quite a few patches, and then immediately after they released like the patch that made it like way better, they took it off of Game Pass.
Oh, yeah, they want their money. That makes sense.
Which is
I
just
wonder
like
how tactical of a decision that is.
I don't know. I don't think Payday 3 is doing very well.
Payday.
The other one I wanted to talk about is the Splitgate studio. The guys who made Splitgate, I think it was last year or the year before, they were like, we're not going to work on Splitgate anymore, which was really shitty because I had just started playing Splitgate. I was like, oh, okay. But they're working on Splitgate 2, and apparently that's coming out next year. Have you played Splitgate?
I don't even know what Splitgate is. I'm trying to like look through for the trailer. Which one was that again?
Splitgate. Just I don't know. Control F. It's Portal Halo.
Oh, I do remember this. Yeah, you were very hyped up about this for a while.
Yeah, it's a good game, and I'm really happy because it feels a lot like the Halo series, but also you get portals to like zoom around the level with, which is just great. And
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that Splitgate 2 is even better than Splitgate 1. The gameplay looks pretty good. I think it had some real like footage in there with like actual gameplay of it. Yeah, I'm looking at this Den of Wolves trailer, and it looks like it is not CG. Like there's lots of fast cuts, but it looks like this is actual gameplay and not just like rendered. So it looks pretty fun. I'm hoping that both of these games come out well, Den of Wolves and Splitgate 2. Of course, we'll have to wait and see, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think both of those games come out next year, so that is one thing I like about the Game Awards now, and the way that trailers release now is you don't often get the like, oh yeah, we're working on this game. It'll be out in 12 years. Usually it's like, we're working on this game. It's out in 6 months, which is great because you still get the amount of hype to build for it, and you don't get people getting fatigued like with Duke Nukem Forever or something like that.
That or the studio just doesn't exist anymore by the time it's supposed to release.
Yeah. And then the last game I wanted to talk about is mainly CG, but I really liked the trailer. It was it's called Dispatch, which is apparently, from what I gathered on the trailer, you are an old superhero who used a mech, like you had a giant suit, like kind of like Iron Man, and somehow your suit got destroyed, so you're not a superhero anymore. And so you instead now work for a dispatch company to dispatch superheroes to solve crimes. And you have to like choose the correct superhero for that situation. And I think that's a neat idea. So you do that, and the promise that is made in the trailer is, if you work for us, we'll help rebuild your suit, and then you can be a superhero again. And it seems like there's some leveling that you can do in the game, or your the people you dispatch can level up, because they say like you can turn your team from a 0 to hero type thing.
Mhm.
And it looks good. Like, I like the animation. I don't know if you actually watched that trailer, but I think it looks pretty good.
Yes,
What
I
are your
did
thoughts
watch
on it?
this trailer. I wasn't like wowed by it or anything like that, but if it develops into an exciting game, then good for it. Like, I'm very kind of bored of dispatch the enemy, get a level up is a game loop. So,
Yeah.
if it's exciting or if it does something new, good on it.
Yeah, I think the story looks cool, and I think it looks fun. But again, it's one of those things we'll have to wait and see. I saw a lot of talk about Turok as well, but
Yeah.
I don't
What are they
care.
fucking doing, man?
I know, I don't care about Turok. Like, I haven't cared about Turok since Turok 1.
I've been kind of itching to go back to Turok 2. Turok 1, I still remember. That had a cheat code that turned like everything into crazy color mode. I used to love just walking around with the map being on a rave.
So one of the things I thought was really funny about Turok 3 is that with the RAM expansion in the Nintendo 64, you can run it at 480p.
Right on.
It's terrible frame rate, but you could run it at 480p. And I was like, man, the Nintendo 64 could do 480p. That's pretty cool.
You don't want it to, but it can do it.
It can do it. So yeah, that was like their super enhanced mode or whatever. It made the graphics look amazing, but it ran at like 12 frames a second, if that.
Still, it's I mean, Xboxes these days have like their performance mode or whatever.
That's true.
That literally is shoulders of giants is what we're talking about.
But then you had like GoldenEye ran like crap. And if you played multiplayer on it, it was even worse. Like, if you had a full like 4 people playing multiplayer, it was like 10 to 12 frames a second.
We did, and we did it on tiny TVs too.
Yep, exactly. Like, you're like on a 13-inch TV playing with 4 people. It was awful. And then you always had like I remember the last time I played it, and I was like, "Are you looking at my screen?" And she was like, "Yeah." Like, the person I was playing with was just destroying me, and I was like, "Are you looking at my screen?" And she's just like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I have the maps memorized, and I look at where you're at, and then I go and I shoot you in the head." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you're cheating then, so I'm done." But yeah, those are the games I wanted to talk about. They seem fun. Those are the trailers that stood out to me. What trailers stood out to you?
All right, so just for everyone listening, we were asked to find 3 trailers that we liked beforehand, and I couldn't even do it. I found 2.
Okay.
I'm going to try to talk about them as much as I can, and then I'll wing it for the third one.
Okay.
First one, and this is the smallest of all 3. They are releasing Sonic Racing Crossworlds, and it's just a trailer of Shadow walking up to a fancy car and hitting the beeper, and it goes beep beep, and that's it. But yeah, you know what? It's a new Sonic Racing game. We were talking about that earlier. I fucking love Sonic Racing games. The second one that I wanted to talk about was Helldivers 2. They ended up winning like multiplayer game of the year or something like that. So they shadow released about 33% new content for the game. They released a new enemy type. They released city biomes. God, it's so fun. Which, I mean, I don't need to sing the laurels of this game any more than I already have. Rowan and I did an entire episode just talking about it. I don't need to do that again. But this update has breathed some fresh air into this game that was desperately. And I might even go and play this again after I'm done here before we do whatever we're doing afterwards.
If we're doing anything, yeah. We'll see.
And if you're looking for something to do again, Helldivers is like still in a prime spot.
You're still playing with the so we have a family plan on Steam, and I think one of our friends was like, "Oh man, I went to go play that," and then somebody was playing my copy, and that was Cyberpunk Monk was playing his copy.
Yeah, they pre-ordered it, so they get like the special cape, and I really liked that cape. So, or they didn't pre-order; they got the special edition. Anyways, and they messaged me at work one day, and it was like, "Yo, what's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, let me finish this dive, and I'll fix that." I have since stopped playing on his copy. If he's not going to play it again, I will hop back onto it though. Fuck it.
I don't know. I think that he might be done with that game. He's been playing Balatro or whatever it's called. Bellatro?
Balatro.
Balatro,
Yeah.
yeah. So he somebody gifted him that for Christmas, and so apparently it was nominated for Game of the Year. So I guess it's pretty good.
I hear good things about it. I haven't played it yet. It's not that I don't get the vice of gambling. Gambling just isn't my vice.
That makes sense. I don't gamble often.
I
If
don't like to gamble unless I know I'm gonna win.
I if I go to Vegas or something, I'll drop $100 in a slot machine or something. But it's never like any more than that. When I went to Australia, I went to a casino, spent a couple hundred Australian dollars in there, and that's about it. Like that's the extent of my gambling is once or twice a year I'll drop $100. But it's again not something that I do all the time, and it's not really my vice. And I'm not a huge fan of poker, but apparently they found a way to make that game good. They found a way to make poker more interesting with
Poker with a
that.
shotgun.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but you're playing Helldivers has a new DLC, right?
It's not so much DLC. Like it's free for everyone to drop in and try out the new faction. There
Okay.
is a new War Bond, which I am. This is the only game that I've ever spent money on for like non-cosmetic microtransactions, and I've done it twice now, and I keep on being satisfied with my purchases. Like I'm not. It is a. I'm trying to think of the live service game where they keep on making content like that you can unlock by buying it. But the fact that you can unlock it all with in-game currency that you earn makes all of that redundant. If you want it, you just got to play longer.
Yeah, and from what I understand, it's not like Halo Infinite where you had to play for like literally thousands of hours to unlock everything or unlock
And
stuff you want.
it's also not like Halo Infinite where the shit's like $44 US. It's like I've spent a total of $10 on microtransactions in this game, and I got 2 full-ass content bundles.
That's good. Yeah, like Helldivers is good. It definitely better than a lot of other games, even though Sony tried to screw it over.
They
They-
fucking tried, man.
And the studio's like, guys, we are rolling in cash. Stop it. We want more money.
If
So I'm
they would
happy.
only open it up to Xbox, I think it honestly could have been Game of the Year if they did. Like I will put that card on the table right now.
It could have been. Yeah, and did it release this year or was it last year?
It was this year.
Oh wow.
It was my Game of the Year. We'll talk about that probably closer to New Year's though.
Yeah, I like doing it after the year is gone. I don't like that they do the game awards in December. It's like, but unless they do it on like December 31st, because there can still be games releasing this year. So I'm like, no, it's technically not the end of the year, but whatever. They do them when they want. And what was the other game you wanted to talk
Then
about?
I was thinking of what I wanted to talk about the third game. I was thinking of Killing Floor 3. I was thinking of the Dave the Diver, but I think what I want to bring up is that cat thing.
Catly, I think it's called.
What the fuck was that?
Let me look for it. Let me do a Google. Catly trailer has lots of CGI. Oh yeah.
I watched it and I don't know what the game is about. It's just footage of a freaky cat.
Yeah, a CG cat. A few cats. Like, yeah, there's a lot of cats. And I'm not
What the
sure what's going on.
What's the game? You can't just show footage of cats and be like, that's our game, please invest.
It's wait. But then at the end, what, like, the cats are changing, but so are the people? I have no idea what's going on with this trailer.
I want, like, it's not in the Hideo Kojima sense of, like, I'm confused and I want to know more. I'm just confused.
Yeah.
Also, honorary mention. It's not a game, but I do want to mention that the Muppets were there and they did a Kojima joke.
Oh, okay. That's good. I like the Muppets. I loved it with like a decade ago now, where they had the Nintendo Direct where they had Muppets.
Oh, I remember that.
That was great. I would like a professionally made Muppet of me. That'd be cool.
I still want to see a movie where, like, everyone but one person is a Muppet, and they just never acknowledge it. That would be delightful to me.
That they're just like they think that the Muppets are actual people.
That's just like that. It'd be the gimmick of the movie. Like something's going on Muppet wise, and then one person would show up, just do their thing. Like they're not the main villain or anything. It's just, and that's a stupid joke, anyways.
Yeah, it's okay. I like Muppet Media. It's not as big as it used to be, but it's still pretty good. Also, it's owned by, or it's like licensed to HBO Max now, which pisses me off.
Weird.
Yeah.
Like, are they still doing child-centric content?
Yes, but it's owned by
Yes.
like, but it airs on like HBO Max now instead of like PBS.
Only for rich kids.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's lame. But yeah, the cat like there were a couple demos where I was like, or trailers that I was like, I don't get this. But yeah, that Catly one was just like CG cats. All right, that's cool. I have no idea what's going on here.
I was genuinely baffled.
Sometimes they just have really weird trailers, and they hoped. Do you remember the PlayStation 3 trailers? Was it the PlayStation 3 trailers where it's just like there's a baby on the floor? Or was that PlayStation 2?
I think that God, I think that might have been PlayStation 2. Good
Yeah, I
Lord.
think that was PlayStation 2, where there's like a baby in a room and then he just like lifts up the PlayStation with his mind and it's like PlayStation. You're like, what the fuck was that? That's kind of how it is. Sometimes they just have to have weird trailers, and I hope the game's okay, but I have no idea what it's gonna be. But yeah, other than that, there weren't a ton of trailers to talk about. There was one trailer that was for a game called was it Steel Hunters? And it has a playtest right now. I thought you were going to talk about that one.
Let me see if I can remember. Which
It's a
one it is.
mech PvP game. It's like 2 or 3 down from Catly.
Oh, I remember why. I thought this was DLC for oh god, what is the name
Armored
of
Core?
Core 6? Fires of the Rubicon.
Nope, this is a PvP it's a PvP mech game that is in playtest right now that you can download on Steam, I believe.
Shit, that almost looks like Mech Warrior.
Yeah, that's what I was
the gameplay that is.
Yeah, that's why I thought like you were going to want to like talk about that, and that's why I didn't mention it.
100% going to admit I thought this was DLC for Fires of the Rubicon and just stopped paying attention. I suck.
That's okay. But yeah, so those were all the trailers that we thought were worth talking about. I'll put a link down below to the IGN article that has all these trailers on it. It has all the trailers from the Game Awards, and hopefully some of these games come out and they are good. I'll probably have an update on that Den of Horrors or Murder Mystery House or whatever it's called, because Durgan and I will probably play that this upcoming Monday or Friday. We'll see what happens. But I want to thank you for being here, Cyberpunk Monk.
I was all you had.
You were all I had. I don't know what's up with the Roa. Hopefully he's still alive. And then
okay.
Yep, we'll be back next week with be the 22nd. Yeah.
Yes.
Because Christmas is on a Wednesday.
It is.
Which is weird. Which means and we don't get like other places I've worked. We've had if it was like Christmas is on a Wednesday or a Thursday, then you just get the rest of the week off. My place does not do that, so we get just Wednesday off, and then we have to be back to work on Thursday. Don't even get Christmas Eve off.
I mean, like, I get Christmas off unless something happens, and then I got to go into work. I lucked out. I'm on call starting tomorrow, which someone ended up that they're an internal transfer, but it's basically a termination. So our on-call schedule got really fucked up right before the holidays, so it could have gotten real bad for me.
I am still mad about my on-call list.
I know you want to be on call. I was like, no, you don't, homie.
No, I do, because we don't do anything for on-call. Nobody does anything for on-call, and the phone's been broken.
Oh,
So
the phones. Oh, good lord.
So and like ever since we upgraded from ShoreTel to Ring Central, still bad. The on-call schedule has been broken, and I never got added to the on-call schedule. So, and even when on-call schedule was there, nobody works on the weekends, so they'd get like one call every like 2 months for somebody
you-
being like, "My password's like I need my password reset," and you'd reset their password. But the people who are on call get, when they're on call for those 2 weeks, gets like $300 extra in their bank account.
See, I don't get any bonus for it. It's just a job obligation.
No, yeah, see, there's a bonus for it where I'm at. And so I've wanted to be on call, but they never added me to the list. And so I'm just like, I want that extra money for not doing anything. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't get that. But we're also not a hospital. You're a hospital, so you're open 24 hours. We're a dental place. So when it's 5 or 6 p.m., we're closed. So people aren't coming in to go to work or have front desk people there all the time or anything like that. So it makes sense to have on call where you're at. Doesn't make sense to have, on call as much where I'm at.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Whatever.
we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for being here. Goodbye.
Goodbye.